Welcome to You Are Not Alone. This is a safe place to explore all things spiritual and beyond. I am spiritual medium Erica Gabriel. Hello, beautiful, wonderful people. Welcome back to You Are Not Alone. This is the first podcast of 2026. Hello, 2026. Welcome. You are welcome here, 2026. Although the first week of 2026 has been very intense. Jeez. I know I said 2025 was intense, but 2026 is intense in a whole new way. Holy tamale. Here's what's interesting. So 2025 was the year of the snake, right? It was all about shedding things that no longer serve you. Let go. Remember, if a snake doesn't shed its skin, it suffocates. So 2025 was really a year about like, you need to let, this relationship go, or you have to let this job go, or limiting self-beliefs, or, you know what I mean? Like it didn't have to be, in life. It could be emotional, spiritual, etc. Okay. Or even physical, right? If you're leaving, any unhealthy habits. And then this year, 2026, is supposed to be the horse, which is like you will just take off and gallop. But, but what I'm noticing, as I've seen through several people that I've read for and several people in my personal life, that if there is something that was supposed to be left in 2025, it will be ripped from you as you go deeper in 2026, meaning it's like, listen, you're not going to do it, then the universe will. And it may be uncomfortable, So what I've been telling people is think of like a portal that's still open to 2025. And think about what you would like to release to 2025 and start throwing those things in that portal. I think of Doctor Strange, where he can cut like circles into reality. I think of like a Doctor Strange portal opening, and it's like you still have a pathway to 2025. Start throwing things that you don't want anymore in 2025, and then the portal will close and you can go on to 2026, which should prove to be a flourishing year and a jump forward year and a really good year. So get focused. Look at what you want and start galloping towards it. Let go of what you don't want. So that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm hearing. How about you guys? It has been a very interesting time between, and this is like every year, between Christmas/Hanukkah and New Year's. I'm like, what is happening to me? What date is it? What time is it? Like, it just felt so disorienting. So I'm actually glad to be back in the swing of things. It feels really good. And I'm really glad to be talking to you guys. So the last podcast I did was called Stuck. The reaction that you guys had to that podcast was wild. I was nervous putting out that podcast. Like, why was I nervous? I have no idea. I just felt like it was very intense for the holiday season. But I should have known better. I should have known better because you guys are the most insightful, open, mind expanded, and mind expanders. And you like, to get into it. That's what you guys are. So it's an intense podcast getting into some deep shit. You guys are like, yes, give it to us. Like, we want it. So thank you for all your feedback. It means the world. And getting that out of the way, please follow me, guys, if you haven't already on Instagram. Okay, it's Spiritual Medium Erica with a K. And please rate this podcast by clicking on the stars. Wherever you get your podcast, and leave me a review because it helps other people that are looking for a spiritual podcast. You know what I mean? I've definitely I've looked up a spiritual podcast and like, I need those reviews where it's like, this is safe. this is not too wackadoodle for you. Like, get in here. So if you could do that, that would be awesome. And it helps me keep going. And I would so appreciate it. Also, if you're hoping to have a one-on-one reading with me, email info@ericagabriel.com, and my beautiful dear friend Jenna slash assistant, um, my friend slash assistant Jenna will write you guys back and get you scheduled for a time. Remember, never get a reading unless you feel that call deep within your spirit and it feels like the right time. Okay. Um, okay, good. So every year for the past, I mean, how many years has it been? You guys know more than me. You guys keep track of this. It's so nice. For several years, let's say several, we have been doing Word of the Year. So I'm not doing like psychic predictions of what's to come in the year ahead. I am doing vibration predictions and providing with a word that I see surrounding the year that can help us develop spiritually, basically. Okay. So and I asked the guides for that. So there's been years where I'm like, what's the word? I hear nothing. What's the word? I hear bug kiss. I'm like, nothing. No word, no word, no word. And then it'll just come out. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the word. So last year, if I'm not mistaken, was work. Work. The work must meet the intention, the goals, the vision. We got to get there. We got to move the needle forward, whether it's spiritual work, mental work, or actual laying down the foundation for the things you want. It was work. Um, so that was that. And let me just tell you a little story. Let me tell you a little story about the word this year. My husband and I were butting heads. I know that's shocking to those of you that are in a long relationship or marriage. Shocking that we were butting heads, right? This is part of life. That's why you make a commitment anyway, because you're like, even if we butt heads, I'm going to still love ya. Um, anyway, so we were butting heads. We were not vibing. I had a very dysregulated nervous system during the holidays this year. I really have healed a lot of my relationship with holidays. Holidays to me were always a very stressful and uncomfortable time because I had two households. So I had my mom and my stepdad, and they went on to have other children. um, so they were having a beautiful experience with young kids having, Christmas and holidays, and we were a part of that experience. Like, don't get me wrong, we were complete. When I say we, I mean me and my two older sisters. We were completely a part of that. It wasn't like we were left out, but there's other dynamics at play there. Um, and then my dad was having his Christmas, Hanukkah. Um, and he too got remarried and had two new kids. So me and my two older sisters were bouncing back and forth between these two households to have their Christmas or our Christmas with them. And honestly, it never was very pleasant. Now, when I went to my mom's, did she make everything beautiful and gorgeous? And did I love to be with her and my siblings? And of course, I'm not saying I would go there and it was like, eating coal. Of course not. It was beautiful. And same at my dad's. We had so many great times. But the energy for me and my sisters was tough. Like if we were late, it would be like, you're late. We're waiting to open these presents or whatever. There wasn't a lot of acknowledgement of our experience. Um, yeah. So it was always very stressful, and holidays meant um stress and trying to manage a lot in a different way. I know everybody manages a lot during the holidays, but just as a young kid, feeling not settled at all. So I didn't know what was what. So, I mean, I can do a whole podcast on this. So let's just say the holidays always represented many things that weren't always great feelings for me. No one's fault, right? I'm not blaming anyone, but it just is what it is. So I've really worked on that and worked on regulating myself and really focusing on the joy for my children and being with my family who I love, getting to see my mom, and just she makes everything just exquisite, and we do a great this fun takeout night over at my dad's, and it's great, and my kids love it, and it's so spectacular for them, and they have these great memories. And I have a great time too. So I've healed a lot of my relationship with it. And for the past few years, it's been really, really good. And I also have the best time waking up with my kids or lighting the Hanukkah candles with my kids or seeing them open their stockings. And like, there's so much good. But this year, I could not regulate. I just couldn't like find my footing. I felt really like scattered. I felt annoyed. I felt frustrated with people. I felt triggered. I just felt really off. And nothing was happening, by the way. Like everything was glorious. I'm so fucking grateful. It doesn't mean that I can't be dysregulated or having issues. It doesn't mean that I'm not also very grateful and seeing the blessings, right? Like 2 can be true. Both things can be true. So I was super off, super dysregulated. Surprise, surprise, my husband and I were butting heads, right? Part of it was I was dysregulated because he's like my ground. You know what I mean? So it's like if I'm feeling a little off, I can go to him and we kind of regroup. And I didn't really have that because we were butting heads and we weren't getting along. So then that added, and so it was just a lot. Um, So my husband and I went for a walk. We went for an hour-long walk in my favorite place to walk and just went outside and we held hands and we just talked about everything and talked about ways to basically treat each other. You know what I mean? Like we weren't being as kind or forgiving and like as sensitive, and we were just really like we really needed to talk and connect and just regroup on our own what what it feels like to maybe not be kind, and that's bad for, our own dignity, like how we're treating someone. We just like really got into it and talked. And it was a very like bear with me on this word, but like godly talk in the sense that by honoring our marriage, our commitment to each other and being kind to each other, we were aligning with the divine. You know what I mean? Because we made a commitment in front of God. So we're like, okay, let's go back to like how we want to treat each other, how we want to show up for each other. I feel like that devotion is like very aligned with spirit. You know what I mean? Aligned with God. So we're having this conversation and we're walking, and I'm like, we need more. And he's like, yeah, more. We're like at a loss, like more. What is it? What is it? I don't, and at that very moment, this girl walks by. She looks us both in the eyes and she goes, hi. She's wearing a navy blue shirt with in huge writing across her chest, big writing. It says empathy. And we're like, hi. And then she kept on walking, literally walked up. I'm not saying a small little thing. There was nothing on the back of the shirt. The front of the shirt across her chest just said empathy in white writing. And it was a navy blue shirt. She looked at us. She said hi. And then she kept walking. And we were like, okay, thank you. Thank you, universe. I guess that's the word we were looking for. Empathy. And that was the word we were looking for. Empathy. That was the word. And I was like, what does that exactly mean? And the definition is basically the ability to understand and share another person's feelings, often described as putting yourself in their shoes, sensing their emotions, comprehending their perspective. It's crucial for building relationships, fostering compassion, promoting social understanding, relying on brain pathways like mirror neutrons, and promoting pro social behaviors, though it can be challenging for some individuals. Intellectually understanding someone else's feelings. Okay? Truly, it provides brain pathways when we have empathy towards others. Okay, we're emotionally resonating with what they're saying. We are compassionate. It can build stronger relationships, increased self awareness, reduces prejudice. Okay, So then, as I was searching for the word of the year, the flash of this woman and her shirt came to me. And I'm like, the word of the year is empathy. Like, I felt like, I don't know. I wanted it to be like something else, like power or like explosion, like, or like shining bright or like something, I'm like, empathy? What? Um, and Spirit's laughing because, we try and micromanage Spirit all the time. Even I do it. I'm like, really? Really? Are you sure? Are you sure it's not something else? And it's just like, dude, listen. Shh, Erica. Shh, shh, shh. Listen, it's empathy. Go figure out what that means. You know what I mean? Go figure out what that means. Um, so it's very different um, than an empath. I was like, oh, are we talking about empaths? And Spirit was like, no. Being an empath is something different where you really can sometimes take on or imprint those people's feelings and emotions. You literally feel it deep in your soul. Like sometimes empaths can be very drained because they're taking on other people's feelings, other people's emotions. It's sensitivity in a different way. This is empathy, which can be very powerful. You have empathy for someone else. So the idea this year is not only having empathy for people in your life, right? So, for an example, you have empathy for your partner, you have empathy for your children, you have empathy for your neighbors, you have empathy for people that don't think the same way as you, people with different political views. You know what I mean? You are being empathetic that everyone is doing the best they can to the level of their own growth and the level of their own awareness. And when you do that, you detach from being so fucking offended all the time, right? Like I was this Christmas. I was like triggered by like everything everyone was saying and like thinking negative thoughts about people, which is just like not who I am. So it is having empathy for people and putting yourselves in their shoes and saying, I see how that person with their level of awareness can feel that way or think that way. I can see how that person has been brainwashed into thinking those things. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But it's having empathy for your world, having empathy for the people near you, having empathy for your family or your relationship. And sometimes that is the hardest thing to do because it's like that person was so rude to me. I'm supposed to have empathy for them. And it's like, well, yeah, yeah, that's their level of awareness. And that made them feel good to be rude to me. So that's really sad, actually. I really feel for them that that's where they are in that level. You know what I mean? So it's really something to think about and being not an empath, but having empathy. So then the other component that came up with empathy is having empathy for ourselves. Having empathy for ourselves, giving ourselves grace, saying, like, I hear you, sister. Not self pity, not victimhood, but saying, I see where you are at. It's okay. You're doing okay, little buddy. You know what I mean? You're okay. I see why you're there and it's okay. How can I have empathy for myself so that I can move this forward? Sometimes we're so mad at ourselves or we think such horrible thoughts. And why did I do that? And I did this and I did that. And why? Oh, I'm so mad at myself. And, we just don't feel for it where we were at that time or our experience. I do that sometimes. I do that, like, I get stuck on the fact that I left college. Isn't that weird? Because when I left, I had the most epic journey of a lifetime that I needed to go on, but I still feel like, "Oh, why didn't she just finish?" You know what I mean? You could have been so much more developed as a human and wouldn't have gotten in this and that. It's like, "Erica, have empathy for 18-year-old Erica. Remember what she went through, what she was going through, where she was in her process, and why she made those choices. It doesn't mean they were right or wrong, but feel empathy towards her and forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. And when you have empathy for yourself, when you forgive yourself, when you give yourself grace, you are able to bring that to others. You are able to shine that outwardly, and your anger or your judgment or, your whatever is, your negative thoughts about others start to loosen. And then what happens is we start to give off a higher vibration of energy. And remember, your energy affects your family, your partner, yourself, your neighbors, your community, your world. We are all connected. So putting out that higher vibration affects everyone. And fuck, we need you. We need people to put out empathy. We need people to forgive themselves so they can shine what they came here to do, their God given talents. Empathy. Very interesting. Look up the definitions. Think about it. Think about how you can give yourself empathy, how you can give yourself empathy towards someone in your life. Again, it doesn't mean you say, like, oh, whatever, what they did wasn't wrong. It's not about that, but it's about intellectually seeing something that can provide you with some level of forgiveness or a bird's eye view on a situation so that you're not so dragged down by it. Self forgiveness, forgiveness of others so that you can see their perspective. Doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but you can see it, and that's what creates empathy, and that will spread to the world. You guys ask me all the time, what can I do? Shit's crazy in the world. What can I do? You can clean up your energy. You can clean up your side of the street. That affects the neighborhood, people. I hope this served you. Thank you for listening. If you haven't heard Stuck, go back and listen to Stuck and share it. Word of the year is dun, 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 empathy. Love you guys. Missed you. Follow me on Instagram. Write me. Write me. Thanks for listening. Much more to come. God bless you all. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, God bless you. I pray for you all. I send you all love and positive energy and light. You're already surrounded by light, whether I say it or not. Truly, God is with you. Your whole team in spirit is with you, and so am I. And no matter what, remember, you are not alone. God bless, guys. We'll talk soon. More to come. Be well.